If you haven't bought everything from the Gold Saucer, if you don't have millions of MGP, then stop being poor and start playing Lord of Verminion. It's probably the closest that we'll ever get to Blitzball. Verminion is a real-time strategy game and parody of another Square Enix title, Lord of Vermilion, which is an arcade game that lets you use trading cards as actual controllable units on a battlefield. It's also very horny. In Final Fantasy XIV, instead of trading cards, we can summon our minions from the game onto the Oh god. I originally started playing Verminion because I wanted the Clockwork Twintania, which you get when you beat all 24 challenges. This is one of the rarer minions in the game. It's one of my favorites, and the challenges are actually really fun once they start to reflect real battle mechanics. I so wish they would add more challenges like this to help diversify the game. But forget that. Today, we're talking about making money. The weekly challenge log has rewards for various Gold Saucer activities. You'll see here that if you play any 5 Verminion games or challenges, you earn a total of 27,000 MGP per week. Now, you can just pick an easy challenge and spam that 5 times.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
But let me introduce you to the tournament. You'll spend pretty much the same amount of time playing, and on my very crowded server, if I win 5 tournament matches, I'm guaranteed like 80,000 MGP. It's actually ridiculous, and unlike the challenge log, you can boost those tournament earnings with a Gold Saucer VIP card. I make at least 100,000 per week just from Verminion. If you're an achievement hunter like me, you can go the extra mile and win 10 tournament games for 4 different weeks, and you are rewarded with this cute little penguin minion. Alright, so how do we play? The game forces you to do the first challenge, which is a tutorial, but essentially, Verminion matches are about destroying your enemy's crystals, or arcana stones, before they destroy yours. If you have minions in the circle surrounding an enemy's crystal, you can start chipping away at it. But if enemies come into that circle to defend it, you can't do damage anymore. You're going to need to get rid of them first. The opposite is also true, but for the purposes of this video, we do not care about defending our own crystals. Every minion has stats. Some have a big health pool, some are really fast, some are really strong against other minions. Some of them are especially good at destroying structures, indicated by these icons here. They also have special abilities, which we aren't really going to use here. It's like a limit break that needs to build up over time, but you need a group of 4 identical minions all together to actually execute the ability. There's also a limit to how many minions you can summon, according to their summoning cost here. Better minions obviously cost more, but keep in mind that strength and defense stats only apply to combat with other minions. It doesn't apply to destroying crystals, for example. Minions do flat damage to structures, so more of them is better if you're trying to destroy something, or you want to have minions who are specialized at destroying that structure. My strat for doing these matches as quickly as possible is to first destroy the enemy's shield, which just speeds up how quickly we can destroy their crystals. Next, I send minions to the left and right crystals, and finally I send minions to the center crystal along with some muscle, because you'll see that there's overlapping circles here, so enemy minions who are coming to bust up our crystal in the middle are naturally going to be close enough to cause trouble, and we just want to keep them in check. So before we play, open the Gold Saucer menu, click Verminion, and then click Edit Hotbar. You'll need to construct a hotbar of minions to use. We first want a minion who is effective at destroying shields. Look for this icon here. The wind-up haurchefant is perfect for this, and you should have him from the first post-Heavensward patch. I personally use the dress-up estinien. You can buy him in the firmament for 1800 Skybuilder scripts if you want. Next, we want a bit of muscle to do crowd control and to protect our weaker minions. It's hard to compete against the wind-up gentleman here. He's fast, and he's really strong against other minions. You get this one when you finish the last Hildebrand episode in A Realm Reborn. Lastly, we need some minions who are effective at destroying crystals or arcana stones, which is this icon here. I use the wind-up kojin because they are cheap and fast and just by far one of the best minions in this game. This does require side quests with the kojin, but trust me, it's worth it. If you don't have the wind-up kojin, then you need to keep in mind that every other minion who is strong against crystals is really slow. Pick a minion with a lower summoning cost like mammets, minion of light, or page 63, and that way you can summon 4 of them instead of the 3 kojin, and that should more or less make up for their slower movement speed. If you want to go pure poverty strats here, I have tested this with the 3 minions that you buy for Gil at the front desk. It works okay, you just have to stay on top of resummoning the minions as they die. I'll include more suggestions for minion replacements in the description. So, tournament day has arrived. You cannot sign up remotely, so mosey on up to Verminion Square, talk to the lady behind the counter on the right, and enter the tournament. If you haven't done the first 2 challenges, this means that you've never played Verminion before, so just walk up to an arcade table to play. The first challenge is a tutorial, and the second is a really easy match that you can treat exactly the same as the tournament matches, so this strat is going to work for that one too. Once you complete the second challenge, the duty finder opens up and you can register for the tournament. You want to queue for the Master Tournament, which is a lot less intimidating than it sounds. It just means that you're going to play against a computer rather than a real person, so it'll queue instantly and the computer is incredibly stupid for the first several matches. So right away, I queue 1 dress-up estinien and 1 wind-up gentleman for later. Once the timer counts down, we'll click on C to switch to the right side gate and queue 3 wind-up kojin. Then we'll click A to swap to the left side gate and queue 3 kojin there as well. We're just switching the gate that they get summoned from so that they'll have less of a trek to reach the enemy crystals. If you don't have kojin, you'll be queuing something like 4 mammets instead. Then we'll click B to swap back to the middle gate, queue another wind-up gentleman for muscle, and 4 more kojin, at which point we run out of summoning points. First things first, I send my shield breaker estinien over to the enemy shield to do his thing. You just left click to select a minion and right click to choose their destination. Once your right side minions load in, left click and drag to select the whole group, and then right click around the enemy crystal to send them on their way. Then do the same for the left side when those guys load in. Once your crystal breaking minions, your kojin or your mammets, start loading in at the middle gate, send them, along with your wind-up gentleman or other muscle, to the middle enemy crystal up here. You can continue sending them as they load in. The wind-up kojin have a nice heal ability, so if I have an opportunity to use it, I will probably take it. If you see this ability button light up, you may as well hit it. Worst case scenario, it's not going to help you, but it might help you, so press it. If something goes wrong and minions die, you can just resummon them. It's not a big deal. You can also use your judgment to redirect minions, like whenever estinien is done breaking the shield, I always bring him to the middle because he can also function as some additional muscle. But yeah, that's it. Do 5 or 10 tournament matches and remember to come back and claim your MGP from this lady before the next tournament starts, otherwise it's pointless. But remember to do that and you're golden. I wanted to make a lighter video after my last one, and I really thought that it would be quicker, but somehow it took even longer. You may have noticed a costume change. That's because I got distracted decorating for Halloween about midway through editing. Anyway, tell me what your favorite minion is in the comments, or tell me about your Halloween glam.